Hey everybody, welcome to another episode from HolsingersFlyShop.com. Bringing you another tying video. Been wanting to do a wet fly video. I haven't done one in a while, and I always like to go back to the wet flies. They're just fun for me to tie because that's what I grew up and started tying. And today is just a generic pattern. It's a generic winged wet fly, and I'm going to be showing off a little new material we got in. We just started carrying. We got to get some more in because I think they're going to sell well. But what it is Brahma Hen Wings, and it's not the full wing. It's just a piece of skin, but it got a lot of good material on it. And it comes with secondary feathers and the shoulder feathers. The shoulder feathers make good hackle, and the secondary wings make good wings for your flies. So I'm going to show you how I use them and tie a really nice generic little pattern. And what I mean by generic is I'll tie this in different sizes and different colors and achieve imitating a few different species of fish. I'm going to show it here in the video in an olive, but definitely tie it in creams, grays, blacks, browns, anything that looks natural to you. Hey, you can even tie it in a red, use it as an attractor, kind of like the gray hackle red that I have. That was always a killer fly for me growing up. So whatever, mess around with your dubbing colors, try to match insects in your area, get the size down and stuff. I like to tie this in a size 16. You know, there's a ton of insects in the stream around my area that fall into that size 16 range, and the bigger you get, the less there are of them. So 16's kind of middle of the road, nice kind of pattern to tie. So anyway, enough of me talking here. Here you're going to see the fly in the vise and then the material list to tie it. Okay, here you see the fly in the vise. Simple little pattern. Let's get into tying it. For a hook, I am going to use a 609 Firehole in a size 14. I actually like tying this smaller in like a size 16 is what I really prefer. But for the sake of video here, we're going to use the size 14. For thread, I'm going to use some 12-aught Nano silk. This is olive. And I just like it because it keeps it thin. Use whatever color you have here. You're only going to see it on the head, so go with a brown or a black, or you can use a white and color it, whatever you want. I just had olive on the bobbin, so that's what I'm using. Now I'm going to tie this kind of like a blue-winged olive, but this is meant to be a generic pattern, and I tie this in multiple colors. This would be great in a like an Adams colored gray, olives, cream would be great. So just mix and match here, and we're just going to put this on really thin, make a nice little thin even body going up the hook here, and I want to get up to right about an eye length behind the eye there. And you can see I kept it nice and even the whole way up. That's important. You know, don't make it too big. Don't make it look like a cigar. Whatever you got there. The next thing we're going to use is, we just got some of these in. These are from Whiting. These are Brahma Hen Wing Sets. And you get some secondary feathers here and some really nice hackle feathers down here at the bottom. So that's what we're going to use. What we're going to do is we're going to pop out one of these secondary feathers here, pull one of them out, cut it off, one off of each side, so I have a match set. Now I've been working on these a little bit, so you can see here, back to back, I have one wing off of each feather, and I'm cutting off the mottled side of the feather here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to cut off about, right around a 1/4 inch. What I want is the hook gap. I want the width of the hook gap. So cut that off, lay that down, take the other feather and cut the same amount off from the other side. So I have two match sets here. Both of them that same distance, that 1/4 inch or the hook gap. Then I'm going to put bottom side to bottom side. I'm going to put them together and squeeze them in my finger. So you have both sides have the same pattern facing outwards. You don't want the inside facing outwards. Now this is like the hardest part of the fly here, and I messed it up already. The hardest part of this fly, whoops, is getting those two pieces together. So I'm going to fight with it here a little bit. Okay, then once I get both sides of them back to back and where I want them, I'm going to lay them right on top of the hook. Okay, and I want them just to go past the bend of the hook, right like that. And I'm going to switch hands with them so I get my fingers right above that eye. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift my thread up in the air and really slowly take it over, pinch it in there, and then I'm going to pull it down tight. And I'm going to do that about 2 or 3 times. And that's going to position those wing feathers right on top of the fly, right where I want them, like that. And then we're going to cut the butt section off out here. Okay, now I'm going to clean up my head a little bit and put the last thing on, which is my soft hackle. For the hackle, we're going to go back to our wing. I'm going to pick one of the feathers up here by the shoulder because they're smaller. So we're going to go with one of them, and I'm going to pluck one of them out, find one I like here. Here's one. Oops. Try again. Okay, now here you see one of the feathers, really nice mottled feather. What I'm going to do is I'm going to peel all the fluff off of there to start. Okay, you see the fluff's pulled off now. Now I'm going to tie this in by the tip. Okay, so it's going to be tied in this way. So I'm going to grab a hold of the tip, peel all the fibers back. So it looks like this. Now, when I wrap it, when I lay it down on top, I want the side which is actually closest to you, but the direction I wrap, I want the opposite side. So if I'm going to wrap it towards you, I want this side left on the shaft of the hook, and I'm going to pull all these feathers off. For me, I wrap away from myself, so looking at the feather, I'm going to pull the fibers, whoops, I'm going to pull the fibers on the left-hand side off, so you can see that there. Now I'm going to tie it in by the tip here. So I'm just going to hold it on the side, tie that tip in good. Make a couple nice tight wraps so I don't pull it out. And then I'm going to trim that tip off. Put my hackle pliers on here and start to wrap that forward. Now the reason I pulled the one side off, you can leave both sides on, but it's going to make a really thick hackle. And I don't want a thick hackle. I want a nice, thin, even hackle on here. So I like to strip one side off, and it just makes it a little bit nicer fly. And I'm just going to palmer that up there until I run out of fibers. When I do, I'm just going to tie it off. Again, make 3 or 4 nice wraps, each one getting a little bit tighter. And then we're going to trim off the excess here. And then I'm going to take my fingers, peel back them hackled, and make a nice little head. Make a nice clean head on there and finish it off. Alright, if you got a nice good knot on there, you can stop at that, or if you want to, you can put a little bit of head cement or some like Solarez bone dry on there. But now I'll just take and, whoops, I like to just take my scissors or a little brush. You can take a little brush there and just spike those feathers out a little bit, make them separate from that soft hackle shaft. And there you go, you got a nice little winged wet fly. Alright guys, I hope you like that fly. Very, very short material list. You know, you don't need much to tie this fly. That's one of the reasons why it's a great pattern. You probably have most of the other, well, I'm sure you have the other materials. Use whatever wet fly hook you prefer. You know, I like Firehole, I like barbless hooks. So that's what I like to tie on. I know a lot of you guys like your Daiichis and stuff, and that's great. I suggest going barbless. You know, you learn how to land a fish, keep pressure on them. You don't need a barb on there. I land just as much fish without a barb as you do with one. So don't worry about going barbless. It's good and easy for the fish. Have fun tying these. Again, tie them in different colors, tie them in different sizes, and any of the materials you need, like always, you can find them at our shop. You know, you guys might clean us out of these right away, but we're going to try to keep them in stock for you because they're really nice. And, you know, there's a lot of great feathers on this thing. There is a ton of great soft hackle, you know, soft hackle feathers here to make great wings and stuff out of. One thing I will say, that Brahma has always been a very good imitation for a partridge. It's a very cheap imitation for a partridge. So if you're looking for a pattern, you know, if you have a pattern that calls for a partridge feather and you hate using them, because I'll be honest, a lot of times I hate using partridge because it's hard to get uniform feathers. You get a lot of long fibers on them. They're just a pain in the butt. Brahma is a great imitation for it. It's really mottled, really nice. So give them a try and reach out to us. Got any questions, shoot me an email, holsingersflyshop@gmail.com. And like always, guys, thanks for supporting us at holsingersflyshop.com. Thanks for watching, and until next week, I'm Sean Holsinger.